Welcome to this Acro conditioning video. My name is Lana Heinches at Acro Lana. First off, I highly recommend actually pausing this video and putting on your favorite dance songs so that you can get your cardio up for a couple minutes. And once you're a little bit out of breath, you can replay this video and join back in. And if you're back, go ahead and come down to your hands and knees for some wrist warm-ups. Roll around in circles over your wrist. And then switch directions. Then turn your fingers to face the outside edges of your mat and rock from side to side. And then turn your fingers forward again for palm ups. So you're pushing into your knuckles to lift your palms. If this feels easy, then bring your shoulders forward and your knees back, and you should feel your forearms activating. And then finger power. So push into your middle three fingers and see if you can keep your fingers flat to the rest of your hand as possible. And then bring the back of your hand to the ground, fingers facing in towards one another, and push into your knuckles to close your hand into a fist. This is waking up the muscles in the backside of your forearm. And then stretching out those same muscles you just worked, keep the back of your hand on the mat and close your hand into a fist, and then see if maybe you can straighten your elbows without letting your fingers unravel from that fist. And then turn your fingers back to face your knees, palms flat on the ground. Lean back just enough to feel a stretch in the front of your forearms. And take a deep breath there. And then interlace your fingers above your head, flip your palms up to face the sky, and start to roll around in circles, waking up your spine and your shoulders. And switch directions. Come back to your hands and knees for some cat-cow arch hollow. Think collarbones wide on the arch. Extend through the shoulders on the hollow. And then from a downward facing dog, same arch hollow. This time for the arch, bend your knees and look forward. And then for the hollow, look at your belly button and straighten your legs, pull your belly in. Do that a few more times. And feel free to wiggle around in your downward facing dog for a moment, bending one knee and then the other. And then hop switches with your feet. Just getting your cardio going a little bit, and land with your right foot forward. Hands on your thigh, interlace your fingers, pull your ribs in hollow. And then keep the hollow as you bring your arms up towards the sky, ribs down. Squeeze your left glute and try and squeeze that back leg a little straighter. Hands down, shoulder taps. And lower down to your belly. Bend your knees for knee push-ups. Try and keep your body as flat as possible from your shoulders to your knees. Squeezing your glutes. And then lower your belly down for a Sphinx pose. Arch, and then hollow, lifting your hips up off the ground. A few more arches and hollows. Hands down, downward facing dog. Walk in a third of the way for down dog push-ups. Option for half range of motion, just bending the elbows, going halfway down, or nose between your fingers, or top of the head between your fingers. A couple more hop switches with your feet. Land with your left foot forward. Come up to a lunge, hands on your front thigh, pull your ribs in hollow. Squeeze your right butt cheek, engage your right thigh, and then reach your arms up towards the sky. Extend through your shoulders, keep your ribs down. Hands down, plank pose, shoulder taps. Good, belly to the ground. Option for plank push-ups or knee down push-ups if needed. If your form starts to suffer, then come back to the knee push-ups. Sphinx pose, arch hollow. Collarbones wide on the arch. Hands down, downward facing dog. Walk in a third of the way again. Down dog push-ups, option to make it a little bit harder by lifting one of your legs. Do a couple with each leg lifted. Switch legs after you've done two. You can add more speed and add more reps if you're feeling strong today. Hop to the front of your mat for a standing forward bend. And then tuck jumps. Feel free to do this by a wall if you don't have a partner, or if you feel comfortable bailing out of a handstand safely in the middle of the room. That's fine. If you have a partner, feel free to spot each other. Spotting is in a warrior stance, hands by the hips. And if you're doing this with a partner, feel free to switch after a few reps and see if you can keep your heels close to your butt, knees to your chest. If you don't have a partner, feel free to rest. And then headstand, either tripod headstand or forearms on the ground headstand. Do a few tuck presses from here. Again, feel free to use a wall or a spotter. Once you've done a few tuck presses, you can either rest or switch roles if you're using a partner. Get those last couple tuck presses in and then come down to a child's pose. If you're out of breath, see if you can take a smoother inhale, slower exhale. See if you can let your body soften just a little bit more. Another easy breath. And then downward facing dog. Crow pose. So if you have a hop from downward facing dog to crow, go for it. Otherwise, step forward, come to a little squat and tip your knees to your upper arms, and then bend your elbows, lean forward. Optional vinyasa, you can hop back to a chaturanga or step back to a plank. Lower down, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Pike through or just come down to sitting on your mat. Hollow pike, rock backwards, tuck rocks. Keeping your knees bent, arms by your ears. See if you can use your core to maintain your momentum. Once your form is really solid, you can add some speed and make them smaller. Then come down to lying on your back. And then throw your arms forward for tuck-ups, tucking your knees into your chest at the top. 5 to 10 of those. And then come back down to your back and lift your hips up to a plow pose. Easy option is keeping your hands down on the ground by your sides and then lowering your hips down with straight legs. A little harder than that is arms up over by your head, legs straight, lowering your hips down nice and slow to the ground. And even harder than that is bending your knees, bringing your heels toward your butt, arms over your head, slow as you can, lower your hips down to the ground, one vertebrae at a time. And once these become more attainable, you're way closer to a press handstand. Just a couple more of these. And then rock forward to an L-sit or a boat pose, and then rest in a seated forward bend. Good. Rock backwards, rock forwards, come to a standing forward bend. Hollow body hops or press walks. So you can push through your hands, engage your core, and see if maybe you can float your feet up and backwards until you get to the back of your mat. And then go forwards, hands forward. You can hop or float your feet between your hands. And do that across your mat a couple times. When you're complete with that, rest in a forward bend for a moment before stepping back to a downward facing dog, and then lower your elbows down for a dolphin pose. And you can either just stay here for a shoulder stretch or lift a leg and do some L hops. Feel free to use a wall for these again if you think you might go over. And then switch legs. Then extended puppy dog pose. Reach your arms forward, keep your hips stacked over your knees, and then drop your chest. Easier variation is forehead on the mat. Harder variation is looking forward, chin on the mat. Someday resting your throat on the ground. To make it even a little harder, you can make tents with your hands, bringing your palms off the ground. And then slither forward to a Sphinx pose again. And this time just enjoy the stretch, enjoy the arch. Collarbones wide, ribs forward. If you want more, you can press down into your hands, extend your arms. Downward facing dog. Pike through, or just hop to sitting. Hollow pike, rock backwards, hollow body rocks. 5 to 10 of these. If your form is good, you can add speed, make them smaller. Then lie on your back. V-ups or tuck-ups. As you can see, I'm getting tired. And then last little burst of energy, rock forward to a standing forward bend. And then handstand kick switches. Lift one leg up and then switch legs, come down with the same leg that you kicked up with. Again, use a wall, or if you feel comfortable cartwheeling out in the middle of the room, that's fine too. And then roll up to standing. Do any final stretches or movements that feel good for your body. And thank yourself for choosing to do this today. Namaste, bitches.